So let's go back to our login page. Let's move to the login page. And here, when the user is logged in, before we display its success message, so we need to dispatch the action that we have here, which is set credentials. And to dispatch the action, first we need to define a dispatch and use the dispatch. Okay. Now we have the use dispatch and dispatch. Now we can dispatch our action. So let's dispatch the action, which is set credentials. And don't forget to import it here. And set credentials takes, as I said, let's go back here. It takes an object, and object contains the user and the token. So in our case, the user, we can get it from so the response data.user, and let's go back to our user controller. So here, when the login is done successfully, we return the user and access token. Okay, and token, we can use the response data.access token. Okay, and that's all. So let's save. Let's try to log in again and see what will happen. So this one is the console. Let's go back here. Let's use the email and the password. So let's add also the password, submit, and we are logged in successfully. Let's check our Redux dev tools. So as you can see, we have here the user, we have the ID, named, email, the tasks. The user has no tasks. We have the token, and we have is logged in now is true. Okay, and this is the action that we have dispatched, set credentials. Let's do something. Let's refresh the page here. Let's go back to our Redux DevTools. So as you can see, we have lost our user with token, and now is logged in is false. So why we have lost our user? Because we did not persist the data. So when we persist the data, so even though we refresh the page, we will not lose our user. And to do that, we need to use this package, which is the Redux Persist. So just copy the command or write it, npm install Redux Persist. So I will copy the command, move to the terminal. Here is the terminal. Let's move to the front and run the command, as I said, which is npm install Redux Persist. And what we need now to do, or let's wait until it's done. Now the package has been installed successfully. Let's go back to our store, which is the file index.js. So here we have our store with the reducer. Now we need to make some changes so we can persist our data. Okay, so first we need to import persist store and persist reducer. Let's import them and paste here. Now we have our persist store and persist reducer. Next, what we need to import also storage, so we can store our data. Let's paste it here, storage. Next, what we need to define the persist config. Let's define it. Let's define it here. So the persist config takes the route. So just okay, you can give it root and storage, which is the one that we are importing from the Redux Persist. What else we need? We have already here the user reducer, so we need to make some changes. So we need to define another variable, let's call it root reducer. And the root reducer will use combine reducers. So you can import it also from the Redux toolkit. So here inside this objects, we add our reducers. So for now, we have only the user. We can use user reducer, which is the user reducer that we have already imported. And now we have the user reducer. You can add anything. For example, if you have the cards, you can add cards reducer and so on, okay? So in our case, we have only one reducer, which is the user. Next, what we need to do, we need to use the persist reducer, which is this one. Let's go down. So here we need, let's copy, as I said, and paste here. So here we define a variable which is the persist reducer. We use the persist reducer, which is this one. So it's a function that takes two params. One is the persist config that we have defined here, and the second is the root reducer, which is the one that we have defined here. Next, what we need to do, so here instead of using the user like we have done, we can use now the persisted, not the persist. Not the persist, we use the persisted, not the persist, we use the persisted, the variable that we have defined, okay? Next, what we need to do, we need to define the persistor, which is this one. We need to define it here. And the persistor, let's change it to const. The persistor uses the persistor that we have here, and the persistor is also a function that takes its store, okay? Now we have the persistor, so we need also to export it. Not config, but persistor. Let's copy from here and paste here, okay? Now we are done. What we need now to do, we need to use the persistor like we have done with star, and to use it, it's the same thing. All you need to do is to import the persist gates. Let's import it and use it here. And now we can let's wrap everything that we have inside, which is the div. Let's move the div inside the persist gate so we can persist the data. And we need the persistor, okay, from the star. Now we are done, so don't care to this blue line, just a package that I have here. We can add this persistor to our user settings and it will, so it's not fixed. Okay, now it's fixed. So now let's refresh the page and see what we have. So this is our console. Let's go back here, refresh the page. Let's do something. Let's check the console first. So as you can see, we have this error, which is serializable value was detected in an action, which is the register. So we need to fix this error. And to fix it, all we need to do is to follow this link, which is the second link. So not this one, first one. So we need to follow the second link. So let's click here and we are redirected to a page. So here, as you can see, working with non-serializable data. So this is the problem that we have here. As you can see, no serializable value was detected there. So let's move down. So as you can see here, we have the use with Redux Persist. So here we need to specifically ignore all the action types in this patch. So we need to import all of these actions, even though we don't use them. So let's copy from here. And here what we have, let's organize, not here, inside index, inside our store. Here we have this persist store, and we have the persist reducer. We need to add also this these actions, even though we are not using them. So we need to add them here. We need to import them. And once imported, we need to move to inside our configure store. We need to copy this middleware and paste it here. Okay. So save. Let's go back here. Refresh the page, or it's already done. Let's see our console. So as you can see now, the error has disappeared. Okay, let's do something now. Let's try to log in again using same user with same password. Submit. Now we are redirected to the home page. Let's check as you can see now we have the user, and the user has named email tasks token as before, and we have here also this persists, which means that we are persisting the data. If we refresh the page, let's check again. So as you can see, we still have our user, which means that we did not lose our data like we have seen before. So now we have fixed this problem. Next, what we need to do, we need to display the currently logged in user here instead of the registration and login, and only when the user is logged out, so then we display the register and login. Okay, so let's do that now.